everybody, and welcome to the AMA Way, the only way to receive your business ventures here at the Fowler College of Business. I'm your host, Javier Hernandez, and here I'm with two very special guests today, two very special members of the band Silver Bullet, Rise to Fame. We have John Kelly, their lead guitarist, and Ryan, their drummer. Let's give them a hand. I don't know how long I've been dying to use this soundboard, dude.
Dude, that went so hard. We're honored.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Hell yes, dude. It's really exciting, you guys. I haven't stopped thinking about this since last week, dude, because I've been trying to get you guys on for the longest time. John knows I've been talking about this since
dude, yeah, we
months ago.
appreciate you having us.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. So I want to start, for the people that don't know, like, John, what is your background like? Like, where are you from? Like, how'd you get into music, all that?
All right, so I'm from the Bay Area, East Bay. I've been playing guitar since I was in 4th grade, and I've been playing live just as long. I've always been to music, just growing up. My mom would always play like Boston and No Doubt, Tom Petty, all that in the car, going shopping. So I always had that rock, taste. And then I would always play like Guitar Hero when I was super young. I got wicked at Guitar Hero. And then me and my homies at school were like, yo, let's form a band. So we went to our music teacher, because she had guitars and drums, and I was always just like, I want to play those so bad. So she let us, jam. We formed a band. We play at lunch, get chased by the girls after. You know the vibes. And then just didn't stop, and been playing in bands ever since.
So why would you just focus
and then
on
I
this
went
one
to,
part of what we do? What we
then
do
once I
is
transferred to
more
San Diego
important than just
State,
being able to defend yourself.
last fall of 23,
world, you don't have to defend yourself.
I met the Reckless at a show in Oceanside,
right?
And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh yeah, they're cool. I followed them, and then they're like, oh, we're looking for a guitarist. So I joined them, and at the same time, I met Ryan.
Correct.
And
so the
him
idea
and
is
I,
that, to be
along
honest,
with our bass player Jake, who I was friends with on TikTok for a whole year before we actually met,
in our school,
we jammed at their friend's house,
learned how
and
to
then
fight,
that got rolled, which was sad.
It got rolled.
The cops came.
Got rolled.
It was a 4 p.m. on a Friday.
What?
There was like 3 cop cars.
Yeah. I was like, are we that loud? Are we like?
What house did you guys perform at? Was it nearby?
Yeah, it was just down the street from Campanile.
It's just a
it was like right by
Ponchos. Yeah,
Oh,
in that
nice.
area.
Yeah, so that's like right
garage was
certain life
open.
skills that
It was
call
loud,
upon
but
at
I don't
different
know if
points
it's
in
that
my
loud.
I think
3 cop cars. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I met Hannah at Aztec Music Group. She's the vice president. She overheard we were looking for a singer, and
they've changed
we had
in
her
the
at a
sense
jam,
that when
and
you're younger,
we're
your
like, that's our
focus
singer.
is
Yeah, I
sometimes
just started
ego-driven,
actually
meaning
hearing about the
things you
music
want to
club, like the
accomplish,
music
you're
production. Like,
competitive,
what was it
and then
again?
when you get older, you realize
Aztec
you
Music
turn
Group.
The music
into
group,
a
yeah, because I
nurturer
have another
and a
friend,
teacher,
Kevin. I don't know if you guys heard. He
someone
plays
who's supposed to be
saxophone, I
bringing
think,
others
but
up.
he just
cool.
they just
Passion,
performed
sympathy,
in Campanile
things
as well.
like that.
Oh, that's
seem to
dope.
take
I think
more
that's
place
the
these days.
there's like a musicians club, and then there's Aztec Music Group. So that was the musicians club, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they do like? Do you know like their missions are like are they similar
So
in any
when I
way?
decided to write the
So
book,
I
it
know
was interesting
Aztec
because,
Music Group is more music
I didn't really know
business
what I
oriented.
had to
So
do.
it's
I had
kind of
written
more
a
like
child's book for children, for
yeah,
young
it's
children,
more like
what
that kind of
taekwondo
stuff.
was. It was
And then
really
musicians club,
rudimentary. And
I don't
then,
know for sure, but from what
during
I've seen,
COVID,
it's more
I
of
was
like
in a
actually
place where I
playing.
needed to
Yeah, it's
That's
like,
nice.
it kind of looks
what I
almost
wanted
like
to
an
say,
open
and
jam
had all
session.
this time
from
to
Yeah,
the
think,
yeah.
videos
there
I've
was
seen
really
of
so
it.
much else to
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
So I started
That
writing
makes
down my
sense. I
life
mean, it welcome. Do they welcome like other levels, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that
I'm
much.
sure.
They're gonna be like that
What
open
did it
about
teach
it.
me about
yeah,
life
it's like
in
a
general?
come one,
I
come all
think
type
that's what
deal,
I
you know?
learned from
Yeah, I
that.
get
Everyone's
it.
Second,
welcome.
then,
Well, that's
second
pretty
part of
sick,
that
dude. Because
was,
that's like.
as I did
Well,
that,
first
I
yours goes
realized
way
that
deep.
The book was
I
taking
think
on a different
because
character.
you
It's no
started at a
longer
very
about
young age
my
and you had that
life
impression of your
anecdotes and what
teacher,
did it do
right?
for me, but
And
more
then starting from
important,
there,
what
you just
did it do
continue to
for
develop
others?
it.
And
It
at the
still
end
was
of
a
the
part of
day,
your
I
life.
determined,
Yeah.
And then
you know, what I
it was
was
funny.
sharing
It's funny
was
that you
my
mentioned
method.
having
It
me
wasn't
met Ryan
necessarily
because
that I was
before
the
we
best
started
taekwondo
recording, he did
person in the
mention
world,
that
or
you
the
were more
best
into
teacher in
sports,
the
right?
world, but really
Yeah,
what it
yeah, I
was
mean,
that I had something to say
Growing
about
up, I think
how do you design
I was
a plan
always
for
into
yourself,
music.
whether it's
Like I
life
was
or
very into
sport.
kind of
And
classic
in designing
rock,
that plan for yourself,
like a
in
lot of
life and in
'90s
sport,
rock music.
When did
how
that
do you lay
start?
it out so
Like
others
you're
can,
speaking
at
that.
least
Pretty
inspire
young. I had an
them? So
older
call it-
sister who was
the
really
book
into
is
that
actually
sort of
called
stuff,
One
and so she got me into
Champions.
it.
Nice.
Pathway.
But yeah, I
Not
think
every
the first
champion,
time
not
I
your
played
pathway,
drums,
but if there's something in the book that
was in like the
resonates with
5th
you,
grade
can help
band.
you,
Like I
just like
I
when
did the
teach,
snare
and that's the
drum.
thing that that I
Oh
heard.
yeah,
They-
the solo snare drum.
Yeah, but they put me on the triangle because I would play too loud.
The book is on Amazon.
they
It's on
didn't want
Audible.
me doing
It's
it
everywhere in the
Hell
world.
yes.
So hopefully at some
Yeah,
point,
and then
not
like
only
for
my friends
years,
will play.
I mean, I
But
didn't really
it's
play
number
any
one right
instruments.
now,
I always
which is
wanted
great.
to, but
And that's because
you know,
I'm
I
probably
played
in this small
basketball
category
and
of
stuff
martial
like
art
that, and
biographies
then,
and
like
Bruce Lee's
I got
dead, so he's not
tired of
writing
just
any more
running around a
biography.
gym like
But
5 days a
I'm
week
really
after
on it.
school.
For me, it's
and so
not
I
really.
picked up
It
a
wasn't really about
drum,
book sales.
set
I'm
off
not looking to make
Craigslist,
money.
and
I'm looking to
I mean,
just spread this.
it's probably
idea
like
that I
15 or
have.
16.
And if it resonates
Yeah,
with
now
somebody, that
I mean,
would
I
be
would
great.
jam with friends and stuff, but I would just play all the time. So
I hear you.
yeah.
So you kind of just developed your own talents for the sake of like
Don't
you
feel
enjoying it.
don't feel
Yeah, I mean,
obligated.
I always
but
wanted to
I'm
play,
sure
and
if you would,
I
I
was
also
just very
just
into
finished a
it.
cookbook
I hear ya.
that I'll be
Yeah,
releasing next
and
week.
then,
That
yeah,
was
I
for
met
my
John.
friends. Really,
We
They
got
were watching me doing all my
together,
cooking.
found
They wanted my
Jake.
cookbooks, so
And
that one
yeah,
I'm
now
basically
here we
going to give
are.
away. I'm
Did
sure
you
I'll
have
give away
like?
more
Did you
of
ever
them.
have a drive to be in a band? Because like he
The
mentioned
cookbook for
like
sure.
John's
Yeah,
mentioned
that
that he
one's
was in a
called,
band when he was at a young age. Is that
One
like an
Olympian-
idea that
One
you had?
Olympian
Yeah, I mean, when I
Odyssey,
started playing, it
through-
was
through
so
the
I
world.
could play with
my
other
journey
people. I
around
didn't
the
want to
world in
just play the
food. I've
drums
been to
alone.
77
Yeah,
countries.
I
Mom's
figured.
garage,
Same,
man.
Get arrested in
Yeah.
every country.
Yeah, I played with some like friends in high school.
It's delicious. I don't
Me
know
and
if
John
it's Asian.
both, you know, we went to community college before coming here to SDSU, so I had people with community college I'd play with.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah,
we play for
these will
like
help
people
you.
in
These are-
backyards
they're-
and stuff, but this is
They're
the
actually
first
pretty
time I've
good
got to
recipes.
play
They're all
with
healthy. I
like
try to cook.
kind
I
of
don't
been
cook,
part of a
my
real
wife always
band where
complains
we're
I don't
doing
put enough salt in my
venues and
food,
stuff
but
like
that's
Right,
that. So it's
but
been
you guys
pretty
weren't
fun.
strangers to being in bands either. You guys understood how it worked. You guys understand how music works, and you guys just had the same passion. Because you went to JUCO in Carlsbad, John went to JUCO in like the East Bay,
Yeah.
so it's just like crazy how that all worked out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So what
it's
happened for me
playing
was,
alone and playing with people
I
is
went
very
into the
different,
gym,
but
and
it's
Oh,
I was
yeah.
always kind of
very
competitive. I wanted to be an
rewarding,
astronaut.
so-
So
Very
I was
much.
always
I think
testing myself.
clearly you guys have
And then I
had
was
really
in
good success so
incredibly fast
far.
running
Thank you,
because I was
man.
always running
Yeah,
away
we're
from people
trying our
to beat
best.
me up or kill me.
And your best is
And
paying
so,
off, dude, I'll tell you that
I was
much.
competitive as fuck. I would race kids,
So,
try to be faster than kids.
Was
And
this
I had
idea of
imaginary,
Silver Bullet?
competitions
When
on
did
the
that
street where I
idea
would
come and
run
be?
and
So you guys
people
met,
didn't
I
know they were
know,
racing. I
through
was
a different
freaking
show.
myself.
Like it was during the
What
Reckless
happened
show,
was
or
that
which
when
one
I
was
got
it?
into the gym, the taekwondo
I think
school
I
would go,
posted a
John,
flyer
John
actually
Player,
saying I was looking for
the
people
place
to
where
play
you did
with.
taekwondo
Yeah.
to
Oh,
build.
shit.
John replied to it,
I started fighting and
and
liking
I
it.
mean,
And I
pretty
actually
much he
liked
was the only, a lot of people
competing.
replied
I
to
fought
it,
in my
but
first
John like
tournament as a
texted me. He was
yellow
like, "Here's
belt,
my
and I took
Instagram." Here's
fourth
and you know I
place.
looked at
Not
his
first place,
Instagram.
but
He's
fourth
in like
place.
guitar mag
I
and he's
didn't take
throwing
that
his
as an
guitar in the air and
inspiration to
stuff.
try to do more
I was like, "Yeah, I'll
better,
play with
and,
this guy."
that's when I took first
He seems
place.
pretty legit, right?
Yeah, and he brought Jake,
Continued.
and so you know we jammed
And
for
continued
probably
and
like an
started
hour
winning in
before the
every
cops
division
showed
I
up.
had. So I just fell in
And then
love
we
with
kind of were all
the
like came to
control
me like,
I
"Oh,
had.
we're looking for a
It was
band
in
to be in," and then we
it
just
wasn't like a
started,
team
you know,
sport.
playing together. But
It was an
that
individual.
was pretty
If I
much
won,
it. Like
I
I think
won.
we
If I
all,
lost, I
you know,
lost.
even
My
though we
team
weren't
didn't lose,
saying
I
it at
lost.
first, like we
So
all wanted a band.
I really
It was
Yeah.
super natural. Like it was just like after the like we were all like, oh, do you know this Metallica song?
Yeah. I just wrote
Black,
something
Black
about
Sabbath
this,
songs, Led Zeppelin
it's
song. We all
called,
just
my
had
friend
like that same
I read something a
taste.
while ago
Yeah,
called
and we
The Art of
like we
Winning.
gelled
It's really a
very well.
discussion
Like,
about what
I
you
think
just
the
said.
first thing we did,
Most
like to
recently,
warm
after
up, we just
watching,
did this like
some
blues
soccer
number,
lessons,
and we must have
teams
played it
really
for
did
like
well. They
15
beat
minutes straight.
Inter
Yeah.
Miami,
What
which
the
was
fuck?
big, big
So yeah,
game
we're
for
just
them.
jamming, like
That's
whatever.
pretty sick,
They
dude.
lost this
Yeah,
game.
and
They lost
then
this game. They-
there was
he
no,
doesn't
like-
feel for this particular
There was never
game.
like, oh, we should form a band. It was
Part of
just
and I
like,
said, you
Kinda
guys
just
let's
happened.
just happen. Like, oh yeah, let's
We
jam.
did that, and then everyone was like Jake
Getting
had just
beat
left
him is
his
different
old
than losing.
band, and
Losing's when you
like
make
we were
a
all just
mistake.
looking for something, and then next thing
And
we
that
were in a
mistake could have been
practice
different or
studio
changed,
making
and you
demos.
could have
Yeah.
What?
No, yeah, it just happened.
You guys are like, oh, it'd be so cool if we were in a band, and then it happened.
Yeah, I was itching to play again too because I was in two bands in the Bay Area.
Right.
So like that first half of 2023, I was just playing shows left and right between both of them.
Jesus.
And then I went like a whole month without playing. You know, that August, you know, move into San Diego, trying to figure myself
the
out.
downtime, which it wasn't really even downtime. You were planning to move here.
Yeah, so yeah, it felt good to find some people to jam with that were really good at their instruments too. And
something you just didn't.
yeah,
When you find your
Beating
niche,
means you
dude,
were
you find
simply
even
out
people
at
that
that
can just
moment
fit in
outclassed
greatly.
or
And
whatever.
luckily, luckily you guys were able to find that for sure.
No, that's the thing. Like, we all wanted to do rock and roll. You know, we wanted that like just heavy like
the old time sound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
Nothing was forced.
Yeah.
It was just like what we.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that's like contributed a lot to your guys' success? Just how well you guys are able to play together?
Definitely.
I mean,
a lot
I'd
of
say
losses
that's
that
probably
came
one of the biggest
throughout
Yeah.
my career.
For sure. What would you
people
attribute
think
it
about
else
me,
to?
They thought I only won because they spoke about the win.
Strong social
I
media
had, like everybody
presence.
else, lost
Yeah,
that
and just
I
like
was
definitely helped
happy
a lot.
with. And some of them
Yeah,
were losses.
Yeah.
I've seen
And on
bands
occasion, I
just
got beat where it means
that
I
I've
just wasn't as well
played shows
prepared.
with in the past
The losses are harder.
go
And the
from
reason
like
the losses are
2,000
harder is
followers
there's
to
something
like
I could have done at that
60K
moment
in
to
like a
win. The
month
most
just from
significant one that
posting.
I
So I was like, the
talk about
second I
is the
get
1988
down to
Olympic
San
team trials,
Diego
where
and
I
either
was
form or
destined
start a
to win.
band,
I was
I'm the
1987
grind on
world champion.
content because I know
I
that's how
was,
like you will
had won everything.
build a
I was on
following.
covers
Right.
of magazines.
So
the guy was
when
going to win
we
at the
were
Olympics, and then I
in
had,
Christmas break,
I had a loss.
you know,
in
we're all
88 at the final
separated,
team
but we
trials
had
to a guy
all
I had
this
beaten
content
5
to work
times and
with
knocked
because
out
we did a
before.
day where
And it was a close
his
match, and
sister
we gave him the
took
decision.
pictures of us.
Did
And
like a
then,
full media
reasons
day?
for that.
pretty much.
But it was in my
We went to
control.
Old
I could have
Town.
won by
His
more.
sister came and
then
did photos
that
for
was a
us,
really hard one.
along with our
The
friend
second one
Leanne,
would have
and
been
she had
at
an
the
iPhone and just took
1991
clips of
World
us,
Championships
other
where I
pictures
won.
and stuff. So we had
And
so much to
we
work
watched the
with
match
during
and I
break.
won.
That's
But
pretty
the
sick. So
decision
wait, how are
didn't
you
go
guys
my
able
way
to
because
push all
of,
that? Do you guys
for
all
a
do like a
bunch of
different
reasons.
section, or do you guys
We would
divide it?
but
We would just make
what matters is
videos
that,
during
again,
break.
That was another
Yeah,
one. I
pretty
could
much
have
like
won
so. My
by
sister's
more.
a
So
professional
the
photographer.
painful ones were always
We're also a
when
very
something that I
self-sufficient
wanted,
band.
like
We just
a
kind
world
of all
championship
show
in
people
91,
like we.
Olympic
Yeah.
Berth
We
in
honestly
88.
don't pay for stuff a lot. We kind of just
And
get
there's
like
one other
offered
one
things and
that I
like.
think about.
So she came out,
10
took some like great photos, edited them for
where I
us.
also
Friend
had
Leanne
won
was
that
doing
before
like
in
kind of the
87,
behind the
and then I
footage, behind the scene like B-roll
lost the
type
decision,
stuff.
which I
Oh
should
yeah,
have.
yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are
and then
painful
you know
because
for
it was
that
in my
break,
control,
like,
but
what, 6
one more
weeks, we
thing,
just were
and
all
that one more
making
thing
different
would have made a
videos and
difference.
stuff,
So those
and
kind of
posting
losses, I think,
photos.
are hard.
So we
Getting
can get a
beaten,
little bit of like
nobody likes to get
momentum
beat.
before,
But you
because
can
you know
understand. You
we
face
formed
someone better than
before
you, somebody
winter
more
break, but
prepared
we didn't
than
have our
you,
first show
and
till
then that was
after.
not in
Right,
your
yeah.
control. There was
Because
nothing
we
you
didn't
could
want to
do
have
in
a
that
show and then be
situation.
gone for like a month and a half.
How do you deal with
Yeah.
So we were just kind of trying to build momentum before coming back, and then
how do you prepare
Nice.
just kind of hit the jackpot a little bit.
So
I
losing
didn't
is
realize
a
that was like
great
the
thing,
game plan because
because
that's
it
actually hella
teaches you
smart.
what
I
you
mean,
need to do.
being me, I
Some
like
people look
getting
at losing
stuff
as losing.
done,
It's
so I
not
would have been like
losing.
doing my
Losing
best to
is
have a
a
show.
wake-up call
Yeah.
to
But like
what you're
your
not
guys'
good at,
thought
what you need to
process of
work
just
at,
like
what you can
having
do better.
having like
And I
at least social
always
media
used it
presence
as such.
initially,
Yeah.
and then gaining
I
that traction,
hate
and then finally
losing.
meeting
I
up to
hate
like your
losing.
guys' first
When
show.
you
Like how
hate
did that go?
losing,
It was great.
you'll
We just
start to win.
we
When you
were like,
hate losing.
I remember before winter
More.
break, like right before we went our
You'll
separate ways,
start to win.
Yeah.
we were
You
just
have
like,
to
let's
love winning, but
take this
loving
break
winning isn't enough.
and
You
just
gotta
build
hate
momentum,
losing. When you start
like build the
hating
hype up
losing,
because
then you'll start to
you
win.
know
because the
we're
idea
gonna have a
of
house
losing
show
is so
in early
distasteful.
February. We're
But
dropping
again,
a
those are learning
song,
moments.
which
So
is
I
Baby's
always use them
Truckin'.
as
We don't
Shout out.
want it to
opportunity
flop,
correct
right?
mistakes I
So
made.
we just
But I did
there's
that
nothing
when I
better
won
to
too. I
do
looked at
during
my tapes
break.
and
We just
see what did I
started
do
making
well,
videos on
what could I have done better.
CapCut
And I think you
and
have to
posting them
use
on TikTok and
losing as a
Instagram.
moment,
And then
as
one
a
of them just
reality
blew
check,
up, and then
then
after
use
that
that
one
to
blew
better
up,
yourself
the ones
and see what you
following
could do better to be
also
competitive.
blew up.
Right.
And then
Right, no,
all
that's
those videos
well
had
said,
Baby's
perfect.
Truckin' playing.
I was wondering if we could
So
maybe shift a little bit
there was a lot of
post-Olympics.
anticipation for that
Of course, after
song
your
to
victory
come out, and then when it
celebrations,
did,
you took
people
your
were listening to
victory
it. And then
you were at a TV
coming back
show,
to break,
you
everyone's
were
like, "Oh, dude,
in
like this new
started a
band, like
business,
hella cool." And
800
then
members. Oh,
we
man.
jumped
How did
the
you
promotion game
market
early
yourself to
because we
go
knew
to
there'd be a
business?
lot of house
So
shows
the best
coming.
advice I
Like
got when I was at the
Coming
Olympic
back to the
Games,
semester.
As the
coming
clouds
home,
like move.
yeah,
and, you know, I
so we
had
did
some-
ours a
lot of
little later,
opportunities to
but
be in
we
movies,
promoted it
TV,
really
and
early.
all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
So there was no
And
other
then one of
house
my
shows the same night as
sponsors gave me
ours
a
because that's
advice.
that's
She
a
said,
problem.
Nancy Grossblatt
Is
from Macho
that's
Products,
like
she
the
said,
one small problem
you know, at one
with
point,
the scene here.
your skills,
Yeah.
the thing
I love
you
it
did
to death.
get here will
You gotta hop on
In
the
other words,
wagon
the next
early with
question would be, what
promoting
have you done
because
for
there
me?
are so many house shows every
And
weekend.
so when I
Yeah.
thought about that, I was always
so, like,
preparing myself for my next goal. My
we
goal
knew
was to
that.
win an Olympic
House shows
gold
being
medal.
like actual like house, like in
My next
someone's
goal
yard.
then.
Yeah.
What am I
playing
gonna
at
do
some house.
after
Like
this?
you're
So I
usually
started to
splitting
work,
the check between like
in
4 or 5
television
different
after I
places.
was
But I
on
mean, if you're the the
show as an
only
actor. I
like
then
that
took
first
and
show. I
transitioned
think
that into being
we
a
probably
producer
cleared
of
like
content. So I
350
filmed
people in that backyard.
my
'cause
Yeah, we
it
did.
was just like
It was a big
no one else
backyard,
was
yeah.
having a show.
Was that the one
then I
just
filmed some great
off the
athletes,
street
and I
here
started
near
creating
P4? Because I think I
educational
went to
content.
that one. Maybe.
It was
Then I went to work for the
um,
U.S. Olympic
Prosperity
Committee in different
Lane.
forums
Oh,
and
okay.
So
different
it's like
organizations
down
that.
It's a
that.
big
And then
backyard.
Yeah, it was
picked
huge.
another
Oh,
goal,
then I
which was
wasn't.
how I met
The place I
you,
was at
John.
was a little
I
smaller,
decided I
but-
wanted
Probably
to
in
be
Mary
home
Lane.
with my
Maybe.
family, which I was
Mary
starting.
Lane, that's another
And
good
so
one
I
because that
started
one's
a
right
taekwondo
by
school.
campus.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
really
easy to get
close.
people
I
there.
found
Yeah,
that
so we
person
get
built
we get a lot
school
of the
with
kids who live
850
on
members in one
campus and like
location.
really close to
I
it.
met amazing
Right.
people like you.
But a big
I then
contributor to
took
you guys'
that
as
and
big
decided, what
audience
am I
was
going to
just
do
early marketing
now,
and the
especially
social
during
media
COVID, where I had
presence.
to reinvent
Absolutely.
myself.
Because it was like
I went back into
you know,
the
I think it
educational
started
platforms
it
and
like
created a
initially
two-way
as
conversation
okay, like
platform
someone
that,
comes and sees us, we want them to
changed the
follow
way
us
that
so
we
they know
teach
about other
martial arts
shows, they
and
listen to
pretty
our
much
music.
anything if you want
Yeah.
So if someone comes and sees
that's
us
my
and we
latest
have an
project. And then
Instagram
it-
with like
it's
no
morphed
photos
into
on
writing
it
some
and
books
no,
and some more
like you know,
content
they're
and,
like they're gonna be like, okay, I don't care.
and enjoying
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
What my
So that
next
was
incarnation
what was
is,
part of
I'm
it,
not
but then it's like,
completely
okay, we
certain, but I know
also
that it'll always
want
be
people to
going
know
on.
about us before our first show,
Nice.
because
Well,
then that'll get more people there too.
course,
So
martial arts
it was
has
kind of
lots of
just
media,
like an
movies,
obvious thing, and then
TV
it,
shows that
like we
were
happened to get
incredibly
lucky with that
popular.
Yeah, for sure.
Instagram reel that got like I don't know what's it at, like
Dude,
10 million.
It,
now?
it's
10
at
million?
9.9. I think it's gonna hit 10 pretty soon.
It's gonna hit- oh,
martial
dude, it's gonna
arts
hit
or
10
the
for sure.
martial
Yeah.
art
And it helps
entertainment is
too.
why
There's
people started
these
martial
people
arts.
having like an
Very
argument
small
in the
group of people
comment
came
section
in
for
from
the last
Asia
like
to
2
teach
months
martial
now,
arts back in
which
the
They're
just
still
gets-
going back at
Oh,
it?
it's
Whatever.
yeah. I still get like
after
things
wars,
every day.
Americans
Of
Yeah.
going back and
martial
forth.
It's like, well,
There
it's a
was-
new development.
There was one video that was so bad we actually had to turn the comments off.
Yeah.
That one got close to 1 million views. We had to
But
turn
the
it off
biggest
because it was
it was
actually
getting
kind
bad.
of toxic. Yeah, it was
Came
getting
from
rough.
movies like
Yeah, but
Like
I
you
mean, it
couldn't
gets
delete the
some
chain either.
clicks.
No, yeah, no, like we that's the
Hard
thing.
out,
We don't really
that's
care
what I
about
saw.
hate comments.
As young kids,
'Cause,
we
like,
came out
if
of
they're
movies
hating on
and
us.
kicking.
Yeah, if they're hating on
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
it like
But
it,
if they start attacking
That's
each
when I was
other,
entered
it's
the
like
Dragon
uh,
Ball Z.
Then it's
Well,
like,
where's the look
alright.
around us?
Those guys,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Every generation.
You guys
has a
have
martial artist
so this is
that
all
has
like
that kind of
self-sufficient. You guys are
allure.
running the media
And
pages. You guys are
for
running
you
your own
guys, it might have
advertising.
been
Have you guys had
Jason
any
Statham,
sort
it
of
might have
labels?
been
Anybody
Jackie
like reach out to
Chan,
you
it
saying
might
that they
have
want to
been,
help or like you get they're interested?
no.
It's
No,
pretty
not that I
any
know of.
real
Out
ones.
the
Yeah.
Maybe some like scams.
Yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
We've gotten like those
So,
emails like,
with the
oh
Karate
hey, like
Kid
we work for
movies,
this
we
like
used every
talent
vehicle that was
agency,
possible for
whatever.
us,
We knew
including
it's a
Kung Fu
scam.
Panda.
You know,
Right.
you can just tell. There's like certain.
movies that you guys are talking about, especially the
It was just
Karate
yeah.
Kid movies.
You just
Those
know
Just
it's
looks bad.
sketchy. You just
I
know,
had the good
yeah.
fortune.
But I mean,
one of
yeah,
the guys
as
who
far as
played
the
one of the bad boys in that movie, Sean
like
Connery,
actual
we're still
social
friends
media and
to this
stuff
day.
goes. I mean,
So
our
I
friend
always,
Leanne,
think
who
about
did the
that
B-roll,
because
like she
nice
does
guy,
photos for us
really
a lot. She's a good
handsome, decent
photographer.
martial artist, good martial artist.
And
so,
Jake, our
because of people like
bassist,
this,
is a
they
graphic
expose
designer.
the martial arts to more.
Oh, so
So,
he's the
like,
one that making the
all
flyers,
those
making
posters
the
and
oh,
the
shit.
it's all Jake.
And if you
Yeah.
And a
use
lot
that
like
as a
the
marketing tool, which is how I
these
use it,
single covers
then
and
you'll get
stuff.
people
It's
to
all
come into the
Jake.
gym to see what you do.
So it's just it's very.
He does great work, yeah.
self-sufficient.
Everyone does something. That
Everyone
helps contribute to that.
contributes. Everyone makes
Yeah.
the
Well, in the
TikToks.
beginning, everyone.
You think
comes
as
the
you
same
guys
reason.
continue to
They
grow in
come
popularity,
because
you'll
either
need
they've seen
somebody to
something or
help
they come in
help you
and
guys with that, or is
they
that something you
become
guys
the
want to
next,
just try to
chop
maintain
sueys,
on your own?
sucky
I'd
guy,
say if we
or they come in
can,
because they wanna
definitely keep
defend
it
themselves, or they
us.
come in, a
Yeah.
parent brings
because
them
it's less
they are
expenses and
young
we
child
like
doesn't
know
have
what we're working
self-discipline,
with.
self-control. physical
I'd
fitness
say
and
when it gets to the
self-defense.
scale of like
What happens,
touring,
though, is there's a
then we'd probably need like a
morph
touring
that
manager.
happens.
Like
They
beyond a
change,
drive's
they
distance.
transmorph
Yeah.
into
Yeah, like
something
I
else
think we're
because
gonna
the
hold off
reason
for
you
as long as
come
possible.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty
not
much.
Because
the
it's
reason
cheaper.
that
I mean,
went for
obviously we're doing a
self-defense,
good
and then I
enough
realized I
job.
was always like,
Clearly, yeah.
My instructor
But
taught
I
me,
mean,
but I couldn't
yeah,
understand
if
because I
it
didn't have any
gets to
experience.
that,
So you always have to be patient
then-
enough.
and we need
Give
help,
that
then
individual
yeah,
the time
totally.
to come to the
For
place
sure,
that you're
yeah.
at currently.
I mean, going back to the record labels thing, do you guys want to have a deal with a label, or do you guys want to try and stay independent?
It depends. I'd say because like we've
This is
talked
the most
about it.
important part.
The
It's
only
another thing that I
valuable
speak
thing I
about
think
when
a
do
record
seminars
label
and
could
talk
give
to young
us
groups, or my
today,
own students, and it's about
or
being
maybe in the
process
future,
focused
would
and
be
goal-oriented.
funding for
That means
tours.
that you
That's the main thing.
set goals. Those are just
Labels
markers that you try
are
to meet,
sketchy.
and then your process is
Especially
more important.
nowadays,
So
you don't
play
make money
piano,
off of music
doing
anymore.
taekwondo,
Like because
cooking, being a
everything's
better
on
person,
Spotify and
learning
Apple
in
Music.
school.
You make
You do that.
third
and
of a
then that's
cent
what's gonna keep
maybe
your
per
passion
stream.
going.
Yeah.
So for me,
and then
I
now
have a passion
Spotify
for
won't
many
even
things. I
pay
was a philosopher.
artists who don't
That's my
make
first degree.
who don't meet a
certain
threshold
amount.
of streams. So it's like if you get like I don't know 20,000 streams, you still not make
physical person. So if
make
you do
money, you
something
know.
for your physical
Right.
self, you have to be an intellectual
So
person. You have to do
what
something for
labels will
service.
do is how they used to make money was they would make a big chunk of music sales, like CDs, vinyl, etc. And then the artist makes money off merch and ticket sales and all that. So when they sell out arenas, that's how they make their money. But nowadays, since most artists have their music on Spotify and stuff, they don't make money off music, so labels will have to take a chunk of merch, ticket sales, all that. It's called a 360 deal
from whatever they're getting off merch and everything.
Yeah, so they take like
then for them, because they owe shit to the label. They have to
So it's like instead of them making money for us, we're kind of just making money for them.
Yeah, and if we're doing our own marketing and stuff, it's like,
You know, the city
well,
had
Don't really gotta worry
problems.
about
in
that.
They would
I
have to have
was
something to
fortunately, I
offer
had
us,
spent a lot
like
of time in the
touring
US Olympic
funding,
Yeah.
board
or
director,
Right.
USA Taekwondo
like, you know,
board director,
clearly,
so I had a
like,
lot of
okay,
experience.
you guys are
And I
doing
worked
this, like,
with-
Something that
if
won't
they-
take like a chunk out.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they
was
could
on the
do
board
what we're
when I was on
doing
the board,
better,
Harvey
or
Schiller,
and like
Dr.
prove
Schiller,
that to us, and we
and these
know that like there
amazing
was
people that I met,
some
George
sort of
Steinbrenner.
even exchange going
So
on,
I,
then
for
sure.
some
Yeah.
reason,
But I mean,
don't know,
it
they left
like
me-
it gets to a
let me
point
say
where
no
it would
more
have to be
stuff
like
before.
it'd have to be a
So I
good deal.
got these
For
great
sure.
Where it's like,
players.
what are
So when
we
I came
getting
to
and what are
this
you
city,
getting
I
in return?
realized
Right. It's
the
all
people who
business.
run
The
this
most
city
valuable thing
didn't
I think
really
they
have
would give
those
us,
things. The city council and
in
especially
my
the
opinion,
mayors, there were a
would be
handful,
they
one or
book
two
our
that did, but the
tour
ones that didn't were more
at like really,
prevalent.
reasonable venues,
So I
not
went
just some
and I
like
asked, you know,
hole in the wall.
Yeah.
somebody
Some
asked me
dive.
actually the
Yeah,
mayor
yeah,
of the city
and
came
fund us
when
for
I
the
was on a
tour,
trip
because,
in Korea, called me and asked me to meet
expensive,
with him.
man.
He wanted
yeah,
me to
no,
meet
it
with
It
is.
is expensive.
Yeah, that's the
I said,
thing.
why? He
That's
said, "Well, I
how.
see how
That's the
you are
only
and what you do,
valuable thing I would see
what
from
your
a label
passion
right
is, and what
now.
more important
Right.
what
is if
your
we
real
get
heart
funding
is,
for
I want you to
tour.
run.
Right, because advertising,
So
you
I
guys are
asked a
doing
couple
well,
of the
marketing,
current
you guys are
city
doing
council
great.
members.
Everything's
Thank you.
everything's working,
And
as it
asked
should be.
two of them, not
The
the
only thing you
brightest
guys really
ones.
need,
I
like
don't wanna
you guys
mention
mentioned
names.
touring and just
But,
like continuing to
I
get
asked
that
these
name
two
out.
people,
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah, I mean,
"Do you
any
think I
kinks
should
we've
run?"
had
They
to
said,
work out
"Well,
have been pretty small.
we think you should."
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
And I said, why?
I
They said,
mean,
well, we don't think you've been here long.
it would just they would have to
So at this
offer
point, I was
something that
donating
we couldn't
40,
do on our own.
50,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to marketing, do you guys think it's easier now to get your name out as an artist and as a band, or was it like
I said, "What, are you
different
saying
and
that
like
I'm not as
harder
qualified?"
now
He said,
than
"No,
it
you're more
was back
qualified."
then when people
And
were
he
like
goes,
handing out
"But
CDs and
we think
stuff?
you should
It's
wait."
way
So I
easier to
thought
get your
about
name
that.
out now,
So I
but it's a
ran,
lot harder to make
and I
money.
lost my 200.
It's
That's
also
a good take. I like that.
yeah, it's
I didn't let that
easier to
deter me.
get like
I took that- what they
more
didn't
of a
understand,
following,
'cause they did a
but
lot of
it's also
marketing
harder to
and
stand
politics.
out too.
That
They
too.
just
Because
framed
it's
me
like
and
you know,
that
back
was my
then it's like
passion.
we could hand
The
out
next campaign,
CDs or
15
whatever,
years
and people
later,
could
I ran
oh I really like this,
presidential.
and you know they tell
I
their
raised a
friend tells their
ridiculous amount of
friend.
money.
And so now it's easier because
Ridiculous
like you know
amount of
social
paraphernalia.
media, it's like we're just
And I
popping
won.
up places and people will
And they
follow
didn't
us
even
and
know.
stuff,
Right.
send it to friends.
It's like more sporadic because you guys you're getting
yeah,
fans and
it
like
spreads
Timbuktu,
faster.
yeah.
Dude, I was
exactly.
on my Explore
See what
page
I
and I
can
saw
do.
us.
So-
Not on
Yeah,
Silver
no,
Bullet.
that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't Silver
stopped
Bullet's
my service
Instagram.
at
It was
$110 million.
one of like the film guys that went to our House of
Yeah.
Blues show. They were like they made an edit of us. I was like, oh, yo,
You
what's
guys are
up?
getting edits?
We'll pop up.
Yeah,
I'll-
like-
I mean, like you know, not like crazy or anything, but like
Yeah.
I'll pop up on my
That's
own For You
public
page
service.
from
And
just like.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah.
did it.
But
Along
like
the way, you know, there were a lot
the
of
thing
bumps
is
and
like
bruises. The
we're
same
not
group
the
tried to kill
only
me, kept trying to
you
kill
know
me,
rock
continues
band
to
that's
try to
trying
kill
to
me.
blow up right
And that's
now.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
gotta
you know, you see a
remember,
lot
run
of
for
other
public
people
service.
trying to do
Not
the same
everybody-
thing
half
we're
the people
doing.
already don't
So
like
it's like
you,
yeah, it's
and half the
easier
people
to
don't like your
kind of
decision.
get the word
That's
out, but
okay.
it's harder to
That's
actually
the
do
nature of
something
it.
with
Right.
it.
If you
For
can't
sure.
do that, then
So
Now
having-
I will piggy
I
off
got in and
that.
did my service. Got
He's
killed on the
absolutely
way,
right.
which is another story.
But the advantage we have
And
is
I'm
there's
happy.
not a
People come back
lot
to me and
of
ask me to come back.
rock and roll
No,
bands in
I
this
already did my
particular
time.
area.
Let the younger.
Yeah, there's a lot of
people do
bands
once I'm
like
nurturing a couple of
there's like a
people
band
now,
in
and
Arizona, a
some
lot
people
of
have
Nashville,
and then when
LA,
necessary,
obviously,
they,
but
they
there's
call
not
me
a
for
whole
help
lot
and I
of
give them
bands
some-
of our genre here.
Right.
So it is easier for us to stand out here, but like in the grand
happened.
scheme,
Yeah, they didn't-
in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's a little hard. But I like the
Most
niche
people
we're
say this
in
person
because we're
I've
starting to
ever
make
met in my life,
connections with some
terrible. He's
pretty
actually
big
running the
Yeah.
band.
up and coming
He
rock
worked
and
for
roll
the American
bands.
Cancer Society.
It's
Yeah.
a really cool niche.
Wooden band.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of funny how rock and roll's a niche
kinda
now.
looked at him
It's
like,
not.
how
It
And it used
used
to
to
be the jam. Like,
yeah,
way
yeah,
back.
but it's like really cool. Like I think within the next 4 or 5 years, I think it'll make a really big comeback.
Yeah, we actually did mention this on a different episode. I think it was, we didn't end up publishing it because it was just like a throwaway thing to get people comfortable. But it was about fashion. People are noticing that a lot of fashion trends are starting to circulate. And I told them the same thing. Like, yeah, you see in music now, there's a lot of genres, a lot of different sounds that they are different, yes, but they have different inspirations that date back to like the 80s, 70s when like groove, funk, rock and roll. Like, everyone's just buying off the past.
Dude, yeah,
Like,
my
it's already happened.
mom, I had family that came down for a House of Blues show.
Yeah.
She was like, dude, I was in that venue and like I felt like I was in the 70s. Like everyone was dressed in like bell bottoms and denim cutoffs and like leather or jackets and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is how it is down here.
Yeah, and it's sick.
Vintage fashion is like a big thing.
You're like an outlet for these people that have the same, just like
yeah.
you guys.
That's another thing about us is like
really quite something.
we really love like honing in on like the vintage style and all that stuff. And there's a lot of kids here who love that. Like I feel like thrifting and like vintage clothes are huge here. it wasn't as big in the Bay where I was from. Like, obviously, you know, maybe more in San Francisco.
We're on an
but
island. It's called Brewer
where I was
Island.
from,
We're
it wasn't
actually
like
about
a big
18 feet
thing.
underwater
You know,
with
I was like
bodies, and
dressed in
so
like a,
right now with the
you
global
know,
warming
Americana
and the
type
tides
deal, like
and
70s,
everything
like
that can happen,
Eagles.
we were
You know,
told
like
that
it's
we
kind of
were
how I
in
always
flood zone,
dressed.
so we had no
Yeah.
choice. And so
I
we
get
have
what you
now
mean, though.
levied
Like,
out
you
Yeah.
just
protect
noticed
us for even 100-year
the atmosphere is
flood
different
should.
here.
And if we
Yeah,
have to
I
rebuild
love it.
over
I love it
It's
down here.
it's really great.
bigger than
And then going back
so
to like
I'm proud of
location, like
that
obviously you guys are
effort
blowing
and
up
the
here because
continuation of
people
good
are
work that
finding
Jack T.
you guys,
Foster, who created
and you
our
guys have like
community.
you're finding people just like you, and you guys are able to build popularity and build an audience off that. We were talking the same thing, I think, either last episode or 2 episodes ago with global marketing, where like people's marketing strategies change depending on their location.
Yeah.
So if you guys are able to find it here in San Diego, like is there an idea of trying to get anywhere else, like perform in any other cities?
Yeah, it's actually, we had like a whole meeting about that the other day. Like, I mean, definitely we're going into summer here. But we kind of
So the
have
rec
like a
center, this
plan we're
particular
rolling
city
out of
council
like
managed to manage
kind of San Diego,
not
Orange
manage.
County,
So,
LA.
back when we discovered
I think
that
we
the
were
rec
kind of
center
talking
needed
about
to
like
be rebuilt,
Riverside,
we
San
realized that past
Bernardino
councils
too.
had
Yeah,
messed
IE.
it up. Instead of
Just going
rebuilding
up
it,
and then
instead
taking
of
the trip
they
back?
added on to
Yeah,
it,
I mean,
they
just
created
like,
a plan.
because
I
in
went onto the
general,
roof
I'd
and
say
it looked like a
90% of our shows have been in
So
San
we were
Diego.
told it would take about
Yeah.
$9 million
We played
to fix
2
it.
LA shows.
Well, we'd have to tear it down.
I
and
mean,
rebuild
yeah,
it.
it's
So we
Yeah.
took the hard
pretty
choice
much
and I
2
said, let's
LA
tear it down
shows
and
and the rest
rebuild
of
it.
San Diego.
Rebuild it.
So we're
So
trying to. Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry.
We want
we
to, no,
have
you're
to
good. We're trying to
do it
like
now.
kind of even it out more.
And so
Yeah.
we had
Because we have our
the
like
time
a
that we had
pretty
it done and
comfortable
we were gonna bond
following in
and get the
San
money.
Diego right now.
Yeah.
Group of,
But
small
we want to have
individuals got
that in
the way of
Orange
it,
County
one
and
of our particular
LA
council members
and
who
maybe
was
out east a little
mayor
more
at this
also.
point,
Yeah.
Because that's something we can
afraid of
easily
this
manage
because
on
they
our
were,
own. Like,
mean
if it's a
spirited. He
weekend,
likes
we
to
can
be
just
liked,
drive
not
up to
be liked.
LA instead of
So
playing in
we
San
didn't move
Diego.
forward with
So
it
yeah,
at
I
that
mean, in
point.
the future, like
And
we're kind
now,
of trying
in
to
the
get
same
it
period
like
of time,
a pretty
4
even
other
spread of
communities have
shows
torn
like in
down
all
and
of those
rebuilt
cities
their rec
instead of
centers.
kind of focusing
And
on
now the
one.
project that should have been $35
Because I think for
million,
one,
they've
that'll
already
make it
spent
like
$5
people are going to
million
want to
planning
come
and
see
not-
us in San
planning not
Diego
to
more.
play.
It'll
if
get
it's-
them to want to make the
now,
trip.
It's a more
Yeah.
exclusive,
will be
like, you know, if we're
$70
playing here
million,
once every month and a
twice what
half
we would
instead
have
of
done. And
once
ours
every
would have
couple
been built
weeks. It's
already.
I hear
like,
you, yeah.
oh, we got to
So I
get to
wrote
that
a-
show.
Then, like, as you
opposition
branch out too,
piece
you'll
through it
you'll
and
like,
put it
and your
in
name
op-ed
continues to grow.
and-
People
Yeah.
will find it. They'll be like,
You're
"Oh,
not
Silver
looking
Bullets
at
in
the
town." Or
business
like,
side,
yeah,
you're trying to
basically
get
just
the
bring
money.
everybody
More
with you.
Yeah,
make-
because I think
there's
like
a
you
way
know
for it to
we
make-
know
provide amenities
we
throughout the
we
community.
had
And
we've
more
only
importantly,
played in
provide
LA
amenities
twice,
for
but
outside
we
communities
had
that
like
can
some
pay for it.
success
So
there with
take
like
care of
getting a
our seniors,
crowd
take care of our
there.
youngsters.
People
And then
enjoyed our
creating
music,
things
so
that
we
can-
definitely
yeah.
want to get it
places
out
where
there
they
more.
can meet,
Yeah.
places where they
Yeah,
can
no, that's
eat,
super exciting
places
for
where
you
they can
guys,
swim,
no doubt.
places
Thank
where
you,
they can
man.
play basketball.
All right.
Right
Has there
now,
been
those
any
only
cons to
things
your
those
guys'
people
like
can
sudden
spend a lot of
rise to
money
fame
for
on the
at
social
the,
media as part of things?
PJCC.
Yeah.
Or go to the
So-
bake shop, like $100 a month. Right?
So
Thanks for
This
asking.
is- He's waiting on that one, dude.
So, one thing is it's hard to like keep the ball rolling. So like Baby's Truckin' did really good, right? Got like
What is that? Like,
it's at almost 40K streams. I think it's at like 39,000. It's gonna hit 40K,
No,
which
doubt.
is sick.
Yes.
Joyride is like 5,000 streams. And then we just dropped a song Wildcard, and it's almost 800. So like it's doing good. But the thing is, Baby's Truckin', we got 1,000 streams in a night. Just because of that momentum we had on social media. And then we tried to do the same thing with Joyride, but it was just harder. Like, I don't know what it was, but you just gotta have a video blow up, and then you have all this momentum.
Yeah.
So it's harder. So like once you get all these followers, it's like the interaction on social media isn't as strong as like you would think it'd be.
Big rooms.
Yeah.
with
You know,
meetings.
like some like social media is
And
so
you mentioned Lagoon.
inconsistent,
Lagoon's an
honestly.
amazing
Like especially
facility. And
TikTok.
it could be
Dude,
I
don't even
cannot
want to bother with
recreation.
TikTok.
I
right
cannot
now.
stand
Restaurants, but more
TikTok. I
importantly,
think
excitement
gone
in
are
our
the
city.
days where
Getting
bands
restaurants
will
on
blow
that
up from
Lagoon area where
TikTok.
people would come
Yeah.
and
I think
we have one
Reels
of
is the
worst
way to go
dilapidated
now.
shopping centers
Probably.
also on
TikTok
Lagoon.
was
Edgewater
2020 to
Plaza,
like
which used to be
2022.
now.
Because it's just
City does nothing
saturated
to
with
work
just
that landowner
trash,
to
dude.
force
I'm
them
There's
just-
so many like, and then yeah,
video, ad, video, ad.
it's gonna get it gets threatened of being banned every like year. It's like
It's just inconsistent.
Yeah, it's like Reels though, like
It feels bad.
much better because I think the way they're reason why it's better is because they'll actually reward people for consistently posting because they're trying to compete with TikTok.
Right.
Because TikTok's algorithm is genius, honestly. Like I'll say it. You are
people
it is
don't realize that you can actually swim
crack
in that water. That water is
for
so clean
your
that you could swim.
brain.
Although
Like you're literally
You're
just
just there for
scrolling and
hours.
scrolling and
It's not the solution. They need
scrolling.
to
And then
figure
you know
it out.
that's Reels is a great way
it's
to
actually,
combat that.
you can swim.
And they're much
I
looser with
unfortunately
what they
swam in
allow
it.
on that app.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree.
The
I
comment
love
section,
IG Reel.
so I just want to throw that out.
The comments go crazy.
No, sometimes I'm like, oh no, what are the comments?
It's like the Wild West.
Yeah, it is like the Wild West of social media for sure. So I guess the main con is like, yeah, it's hard to like keep that momentum going. And then since you have all these followers,
So in the city, in
I guess,
Foster
like,
City,
people
you
put,
know, I was
like,
fortunate that
this like pressure on
had a
you,
good
like, oh,
competition career,
like, you're like this big
and I had a
like
good business career with martial
shot
arts,
for
and I
having all these
ran,
followers, and I'm just like,
a
dude,
number
I'm
of
just a guy,
educational
bro.
things for
I
Like,
really am
worked
just
with
a
some of the
guy.
biggest
I'm just a dude,
companies.
man. Like,
And I love
When
to
I
play
came
my
to the
guitar.
city, I saw the
yeah,
city
like
was
some people will get
amazing,
like jealous. I'm just like, dude,
like-minded
I'm just a
people with
guy.
great families.
Like,
So in
this doesn't
city,
really
I built
mean
one of the
much. Like,
best
it's
martial art
cool.
programs
Don't get me
arguably in the
wrong.
country
Like, it's
now
cool
in
to
the world.
have, but at the end of the day,
And
like,
really just
social
I'm
media is
proud
kinda
of young men
fake.
like you and young
Yeah.
men
you know,
like
like we try to be really authentic with who we are on that app, you know. So that's like we make a lot of funny reels
So in
because like
Foster
that's
City,
who we are.
you
We're
know, we
silly,
became the
like
biggest-
you know,
That's the
like
thing too,
probably the best
right? 'Cause
martial
it's
arts
just like what
facility
do
in
we
the area, in the
post?
country.
Where it's like we do
And
want to
then we had
market,
great
but we
people
also
come through.
want to
So
be
the legacy of that
like
was really
honest.
something
Like we
that
don't
really
want
is
to
close to my heart.
be like, hey, we know
really
this
get a
video will
big sense of
blow up, but
community
it's
when
not
you show up to
real.
tournaments.
Like we're not gonna make some BS video. Just
Yeah.
You guys aren't like analyzing it down to like
Yeah.
what's gonna blow
gotta
up.
be
No,
It's
yeah.
just
We're-
to
in
you.
the
like
community.
it
So we
works
always
for
took
us,
a
but it's
portion of
not
the
like we're
profit,
like
went back either
really
into the school
mathing
into
it or
members or
anything.
No.
Like
put more
Yeah.
pulling into the
it's just like
community.
we're
So
just
we
posting
ran,
what we feel like we should post.
Champions
Like,
Days, Olympic Days.
but yeah,
in
there's
schools,
definitely.
and
I
we raised
mean, like with Baby
$1.5
Trucking,
million
like we
for
posted
Blue
it
Island
like
over a period of
12
time.
hours later, had 1,000
We donated
streams.
to
Now
the
it's at
city
like
and
almost
raised money for them. We
40K.
donated to the
We're like with
Art and Wine
Joyride,
Festival
like I don't
and
even know if
Chamber
we
of
had
Commerce
100
and-
streams within a
but more
couple
importantly,
days.
like the
Like it's just
t-shirts,
very
we would give
inconsistent.
t-shirts
Yeah.
away to everybody.
Definitely the first
So that,
show was a little
the kids
nerve
could get
wracking
an
because it was
opportunity to learn
like
about us. But
Oh,
more
God.
importantly,
I hadn't
oh,
played
you're
in
also
front of
a gold
people
medal
before,
member.
and we have like
So it'd be hard to
20,000
go through
followers
Foster
on.
City
Yeah, there was a
and
lot
not
of
meet someone.
expectations on the
Exactly.
line.
Like we
Small
knew
degree of
what we
separation
had,
from
we
you
knew
that
we were
either
good,
remember
but it's
or
like
knew someone
we
who
don't
was
know how people were gonna react. Especially like we're playing for this area, very niche kind of music.
Yeah.
So it's like even though we know we're good, we don't know if people are gonna like it, and they're gonna be like, why do they have 20,000 followers?
Yeah,
So there's just
yeah.
there was definitely pressure at first. I think we've sunk
It was a
into
great
it more now.
opportunity to get the
And
children
there's
that
definitely
weren't gonna
some
compete at the Olympic
expectations
level
have
at City.
been like
This was their Olympic moment. They
maybe
got to
like
demonstrate to their parents and friends.
looked at
They got
differently,
that
especially
feeling of
after
being a little
like
bit
the
nervous
success
and
of
then
that
trying
first
to
single.
excel at the
But
moment where you needed to. So it's
like you know, we're
like
just
a
still
tournament.
making music, playing
You
music,
do
and we're
those
having fun. So that's kind of
demonstrations,
what
but more
matters.
Yeah, dude. I think,
You know,
I think as long as you guys are having
gives
fun, you guys have
people
that
an
same like positive energy.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna
Possible
get
with a
get some
little bit
people
of
on your back
hard
for
work.
sure.
Dude, thank you.
a little bit of determination.
Yeah, because that's how it is. Just with like any sort of media, like even with this, like I don't like I have fun doing this, but I'm not advertising it all the time.
Yeah.
People will have their opinions on it, but like
You
I still
remember
do it
the
because I
student
enjoy
creed?
it.
No,
Yeah, the
exactly.
student creed.
But,
You know, we.
Yeah.
I tell the kids.
What's
they
so
don't
like what's been the
realize it.
what's been the
You guys
best
are
part
good
of it? Just
examples
like having your
I said,
guys'
this is
overall
something you'll
success. Like you
remember
guys are
for a
growing in
lifetime. When you
popularity.
hear
You
it,
guys have a great following on social
it'll bring
media.
back
You guys are
a
doing
moment of
everything you guys
nostalgia
are
and a
doing
warm
yourselves
feeling in your
basically.
heart. But
Like
we
what's
talk
been
about
just
that. We-
the best part? You can
life
pick anything.
skill
Probably
model that we
shows.
teach.
Definitely the
Student
I was
shows.
gonna
Yeah.
say,
about what we do.
even
Use
though
words like I
the
will, not I
quick
might, I
blow
could, I
up
should.
did
We
cause
like
like
to teach
some
action,
problems,
people
there's
action.
definitely way
More
more
importantly, it
rewards
reminds
than
you of who you
issues.
are.
Like
This is what we do.
there's
This is why we
places
do it,
we've
and this is where
played
we
that
do it,
we
and this
wouldn't
is how
have
we do it.
played if it wasn't for that Instagram reel blowing up, which we've been very grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt there would have been that many people at that first show if it wasn't for that. So like
Too kind.
the shows
You're
have
my
been
best
amazing.
cheerleaders.
Like
Yeah.
I don't think we played an empty room yet, to be honest. I think our like our least crowded show was our first LA show,
yeah.
but it was a tricky weekend. It was St. Patty's weekend, so everyone's doing 10 million different things and all
The
that.
community
So
has changed
it
a
wasn't
lot,
like
so what
the
I've
best
done now
time to
is
play a show, but
I
it
did
was
my good
honestly
for the
such a
whole
fun
community as a
show.
whole.
Like we had so
And
much
Dude, it's
fun.
St. Patty's Day. You guys performed at night, right?
Yeah, it was at
They've
a-
been getting faded all day.
It was at a bar in LA. It was like this.
Maintain our
The
community.
people in the room
And
were
then we
great.
built a
Yes.
small
we got a
community, so
lot of
limit
love
our
after the
membership.
show,
We
which
only
we
take certain
weren't
members. They're only
totally
by
expecting.
invitation
We
or
were
evaluation.
pleasantly
So
surprised by
if a
how
parent wants
nice
to come to
people
my
in LA
facility, I
were.
meet the parent, I meet the
It was
child.
so much fun.
And then
It was
after
a good
conversation
show,
with the
but
parent
like, yeah,
and
we
review
really
the child,
haven't
we'll make a decision
played a
whether
show
we'll
yet
offer
where
them
we're like,
membership.
man, there
We give them
wasn't that many
24
people
hours.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
If they don't,
I remember
we
there
won't
was
take
one
them,
show.
and we
I
won't
think it was
take
our
them in the
overall
future.
show where
If we are not a good fit
it
for
was a
them, which
slow
happens,
start.
we'll
Like
suggest
I was like,
somewhere else
oh
that
man,
might be
not
a
as many
better
people
fit,
are coming,
because I
and then all of a
realize
sudden
now
people
that
just flooded
we
in
were
at
helping
once,
the
and I was like,
entire
oh yeah.
community.
Is that
And
kind
then
of
there were
happened
people
at
that
Holding Company and Viper Room?
probably didn't.
Yeah,
want that.
10 minutes
Viper
before we
Room.
went
Oh,
on stage
God.
at Viper Room, I was
I
like,
want more
oh
impact.
god.
So
Yeah.
There was
I wanna
like
help.
15
help
people, and it was just like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
This is like a dream venue to play at, and nobody came.
It's
And
kinda
like
like a private
as we were getting called to
They don't
stage,
accept
like I mean,
everyone.
You just heard it.
60, 70
And
people must have
my
come in.
friend
Like,
taught me something.
It
like
was-
the room
yeah.
felt filled by the
Taekwondo
time
is
we were
for
done with our first
everyone.
song.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they had
Not
a
everyone is for taekwondo.
what's it called?
There was a curtain.
Yeah, a curtain.
Pretty much
Oh, there's
we
a curtain.
went.
That's my
They came and got
mentality.
us and
Why-
like time to get on
why
stage.
should
We were
we
getting
spend time
ready.
and energy
When we
to
went behind the
value
curtain,
what
there was
we
probably
do? We can't
15,
appreciate
20
it.
people in the crowd,
Oh,
and we were just like,
yeah.
okay, like let's just
It's
do
more
it. Like
exclusive,
let's
but it's
play.
inclusive
Sound
of the
guy
people
came
that
back,
we
was like,
want. So we
90
want
seconds or
good people
whatever.
that have
90
shared
seconds. Why
values,
couldn't open and the room was
we're
full. And we were like,
inclusive
Yeah.
of
You're
them.
like, holy shit.
We're like,
Inclusive
Thank
of others,
God.
I think,
yeah, no, it was great.
wouldn't value
I had a
us. So we
feeling that would
parent come in
happen,
the other
honestly,
day,
like
Yeah.
and she said,
because it's
well,
it was a
you know,
two-story
I'm
venue,
gonna-
so like there's a bar
I'm not
downstairs,
sure. I don't
everyone's
even
down
think my
there,
kids wanna do
whatever.
this.
People were hanging
So
out
I kinda
outside
looked at her,
because it's kind of
like,
small. It's kind of uncomfortable
we're
if you're
not
just
the
sitting in there the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
what you
yeah,
said doesn't
Viper Room was
resonate
cool.
with me.
We
My parents
definitely
don't
wouldn't
bring
have gotten
their
that
children
show
and
if it
say,
wasn't
"I'm not
for
sure if they wanna do
having
that."
the
Bring your
followers we
children,
have.
raise
Yeah.
your children, raise your children,
House
and
of
we'll help.
Blues, same thing. I have a buddy I went to high school with, Ethan Carlin. Shout out Ethan.
Shout out. Yes. You gotta show him this episode.
Ethan's a homie. He works at House of Blues, and I remember when I first moved here,
I think so. I think
I was asking about because I saw that they did like a college show at House of Blues
I'd rather
right
be more
before
impactful
the
with
school
people
year
that are
ended,
willing to
previous one.
change,
So I was like,
and
oh,
rather
dude,
than
yeah,
trying
like,
to teach people that they
how do you
need
like go
to
about
change.
playing
So,
there? He was like,
I
dude,
teach
get in a
music as
band.
well, so I was at
I'll
a
make sure you
music
play there.
school
And I was
earlier
like,
today,
say less.
teaching, and the woman came in,
And then Christmas
sat with
break,
her young
we
child,
started talking.
and
He was
then
like,
she's
how
asking
about
these
April
questions, and
17th?
I
I'm like,
realized that
sounds
she was in
good.
the wrong place.
And
I
then
was
we
definitely
got,
the wrong
we
teacher
made it
for
like
her.
a SDSU
So I
thing,
kinda asked
like
her
got
a few more
SDSU
questions,
bands,
and I said,
and
I don't
yeah, that was a
accept
fun
every
night.
student.
Very
I said,
successful
"There are a
night.
lot of teachers
That's
like
awesome,
that."
dude.
I
Yeah.
said, so,
It's been great
I'm
hearing
gonna
your
bring you to
guys'
the front
success,
desk.
and I
Maybe
really
there's
do
a
hope you guys
better
continue to
teacher
blow
for
up
you,
and
because
everything, because it's
the
just
parent
having this
herself
interaction is just
didn't
like it's
understand
bizarre.
what
It's
I
like
did or
beyond
what
me.
we
Dude,
did.
thank you, man. We're stoked to be here.
Yeah,
No worries.
So there wasn't any way.
We have a really,
I'd be
I think
able
our
to teach
biggest
her
show to
job
date
because I didn't have
is coming up
her
September.
confidence.
It's we're still figuring out the
She didn't
exact date, but it's
understand
gonna be
nor could she
either
have
September
confidence
5th or
because
September 6th
she
at the
simply
Music
didn't know what
Box.
we did.
But
So
September
I
next
didn't
fall,
really
Yep.
gonna be the
at the
biggest
time-
show.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's
We
what I
got
was gonna lead up to. I'm topping off your guys' great success,
and then
guys.
I
What
found
is
out she
gonna
had
be the
actually
next
had the
step?
same
And I'm
problem
assuming
on the
it's gonna
tour
be
and
the
with her
September
vocals.
show, right?
So I'm
Yes.
pretty sure
Yeah.
she's not
We're gonna
gonna
go
be
into.
in school.
We're recording right now.
Is this a single or is this a big project? Like
It's
an
a bigger
album?
project.
It's a bigger project.
Yep.
Okay. I won't pry too much, but that's pretty big. I'm hearing about it.
Hell yeah.
I think probably the first.
You
person
might
out of
be,
the
yeah.
band.
This is
I
a
think that
very,
every
it's
student
very
that comes
still
to
in the
my
works.
school,
But we plan on releasing
deserves
it.
the best that I can offer.
day
In
of the
order for
Music
me to
Box
give
show.
The best that I can offer.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
need to
Music
focus
Box
on
is the
those
next
that
big
are
show. We're playing
deserving
holding
and
our
willing.
last show
For me to focus on those that are not deserving
until
or
that
not
show
willing
is May
would be
23rd at
to
the
take
Holding
away time
Company.
from somebody who is.
The
A
Holding
parent
Company?
that's spending
Yeah.
money
Shut
with
up.
us
Yeah.
or
Is that you guys have a Live Nation? Do you guys have anybody
I
with
need
that?
to give them time. So if I
Not
have to spend
for
twice,
that
3
show.
times,
I
4
don't.
times
They do work
someone
with
who
Live
doesn't
Nation a lot,
understand
but
what
I don't think we're
doesn't wanna
working
do
with
it.
Live Nation for
That
this.
would be
Or doesn't
insane.
Yeah.
You guys.
We worked with Live Nation
then I'm
for
being unfair to the people that
House of
did.
Blues,
So
though.
that was really
Oh
the
yeah, for
motivation.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
they've worked
wanted to
there.
work with
It's
people
House
that
of Blues,
understood what
and
we
then
do
the Holding Company, and
and
then
wanted
the
to do it
Observatory.
as
Those
a
are like
Yeah.
the three big
Yeah.
ones.
Is Music Box also Live Nation, or I can't remember?
I don't know.
Cure
I've
some
actually,
problem. So I'm not interested in the person. That's
I know
watching
Holding
on
Company. I see a
TV,
lot of Live Nation
doing
stuff
7
there, but
minute
I'm
ads
actually
or,
not sure with Music
taking
Box.
a pill. They think
Right
it's gonna
on.
make you
But
shake
Music
yourself.
Box is a great venue.
You gotta make
But yeah, we
change.
got
Change starts
something
with
a little bigger in the works.
That's
Gonna kind of
definitely
have a little
something
downtime over the
hope
summer,
there's chatting
and then come
Oh,
back.
there
And
is.
Music
There's a-
Box will
there's
kind
a-
of be the
there's a
start
couple.
of us
So,
rolling out
one of
that,
the things I think
you
is
know,
important
San
is,
Diego, OC, LA,
self-realization
kind
and
of
evaluation. You gotta
switching
first
off.
understand
house shows are going to be
and
probably a
accept that,
little
like,
more
when it
few
comes
and
to
far
losing or
between.
whatever else, then you can make change.
Like a little less
It's only
frequent.
when you
Yeah,
don't.
it's going to be
It's a
more
story about
like,
this
you know,
one. I
we'll
had a
probably
friend who
play
never
a
lost.
Halloween house show.
Definitely Halloween.
That would be
We'll
sick.
definitely play a
I'm
Halloween
gonna go
house
dress
show.
as John.
Yeah, that's a good concept.
Wear some
He lost.
overalls.
No, he lost.
But
He
yeah,
thought
it'll be a
he
little
was-
more of a
Yes.
special
Whenever he
occasion
lost, it
thing.
was
We're
somebody
trying
else's
to
fault.
branch
The
out a
referee
little
cheated.
more.
That's sick, dude.
He got lucky.
Yeah, because we got that social
So I finally
media
said to him, I
following
said,
for
"You've
sure,
never
but we
lost."
do
He said,
want
"It's
to
all right."
get kind of
Because he
solid
lost.
fan
I said,
bases
"No, you
around,
always
not
blame
just in
somebody
San
else." I said, "When you
Diego.
stop blaming
Right.
other people."
But yeah, no, we're super
So
excited.
he didn't talk to me
so.
for a year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he
Well,
won.
I
the
really
next year.
appreciate your
And
guys'
we were friends
time,
for a long time
and
because of
look
that
out for those
conversation.
shows coming up
But
next
I've had that
fall.
conversation
Keep an
with a
eye
lot
out
of
for
people. You gotta
again
first
that big
understand
project. I'll hear more about it later
where
on.
you
We'll all
are,
hear
your
more about
reality,
it.
and you can change
And if you enjoyed this, guys, please let us know in the comments. Until next
Okay,
time, this is the
accept reality.
AMA way. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ryan. We'll see
It
you
is.
guys next
Like,
time.
listen, I
Okay?
look in the mirror
Thank
every
you.
morning and I
Thank
see
you.
a different person than I think I see, but I realize that's me. So I just believe that shit with mirrors can change. You know, I'm getting older. I don't know how to do that.
No, yeah, definitely. And let's transition to the current with the Olympics coming up. So let's talk about current athletes in our Olympic team. What advice do you have for young athletes that maybe aspire to reach the highest levels of their sport?
So in any sport, the advice that I give athletes is you have to be willing to do what's necessary and sacrifice the things that you may love or want for this one goal, for a particular point in time and for a period. If you're not, then you'll lose because there will always be someone else that's willing to. So I always knew that when I was competing, if it were raining, I still ran. If it were snowing, I still ran because I lived somewhere where it snowed. If I was hurt, I still ran. Because somewhere else in the world, it's not raining, it's sunny all the time, and somebody's training harder than me. So you have to first be willing to do what's necessary. Number two, you have to be willing to sacrifice things that you may want in the short term for a goal that's in the long term. Number three, you can do all of that and still lose, but you'll be better for the experience. So what would happen with me is I come back from the Olympics and I meet these young athletes. Sir, I'll do whatever I need. Please tell me. And I start to tell them what's necessary. And all of a sudden they start glazing over and looking around. And I know what's going to come next. And I just keep talking. And then at the end I go, so what? And he goes, but. And I go, that's the problem. As soon as you say the word but, you won't win. There's no but. For this period of 10 years, 5 years, whatever it takes, you're going to have to do all of these things and sacrifice and be dedicated, and you'll win. So for young athletes, I always say, make a decision. This is what you're going to do. My son is a soccer kid. He loves soccer. He wants to be a world-famous soccer player. We have this conversation all the time. Here's how it goes. You are going to go to school because you're a student athlete. You're going to excel at school because you want to be a soccer player, and you have to get good grades to go to good soccer schools. You're going to come home. You're going to have about 30 minutes. You're going to soccer practice. Then when you have free time, you're going to play soccer, and you're going to study for your ACTs and SATs. That's all you're going to do. Now, if you don't want to do that, then just have fun, play soccer, enjoy school, and just know you're not going to be a champion. That's his reality. So you saw him walk in earlier today. He was playing soccer. After that, he was studying his ACTs. So we give him everything that he needs to be successful. Now, he can do all of that and still not make it, but we will give him the best, widest possibility. And that's what you have to be able to do and be willing to do. And so if you're a young person and you like video games, probably going to want to give that up. Like going to movies, probably want to give that up. Want to hang out with your friends, probably going to give that up. You're going to have to sacrifice everything that you have and know for that period of time. So that's what I did, and that's what you have to do just to be in the running to be successful.
So it's back to the whole I will mindset. Not try, I will do this.
Yeah.
I will cut everything out. I will
Not everybody is capable of that, but that's the starting place. What I can tell you is the people that stay in the room long enough succeed. The people that leave definitely lose. People that don't take shots fail. You miss 100% of the goals you don't shoot.
It's a great soccer analogy right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
And of course, with soccer growing so much in America, there's of course lots of competition, and American teams are getting so much better now. So gotta train even harder. Who knows who around America is training hard?
Well, and that's the other thing. You know, I meet soccer coaches all the time, and they're like, "Well, if they haven't done this by this age, and they haven't done this by this age, they're never going to play." And so I find a new soccer coach because you don't need a coach telling you what you can't do. I mean, if I listened to everybody that told me I couldn't do what I could do, I wouldn't have done it. So, you know, I always tell the story about two people. They both went. They didn't have fathers. They were both single parent households. They both went to school. They both did well in high school. They both went to college and decided they wanted to be lawyers. They went to law school. They both went into public service. They were both athletes. One of them went on to continue to be a politician. And the other one went on to go to sport. One of them became an Olympic gold medalist. The other one became president of the United States, Barack Obama. I'm the other one, the gold medalist. Same life. I could have turned left and kept doing public service. I'd be president because I would put the same time and energy in. So stay in the room long enough, do the work, and don't let somebody tell you you can't do the work. Don't let somebody tell you can't achieve it. Because if you believe that, just by not trying, you'll fail automatically. You know, and there's a famous quote, I think, by Thomas Edison, and it says, if you believe you can't, then you can't and you won't. If you believe you can, and something like that, you can't and you don't make it. He says, in both cases, you're right, right? If you believe you can't, then you don't make it. If you believe you can't, then, you know, you've already, yeah, of course, you're right. I can't remember the quote. It's a great quote. I'll have to remember it again because I like the quote, but I didn't say it exactly right.
I definitely like that, and it applies to everything in general. Just don't surround yourself with people that maybe say, you can't do this, don't do this. Like, first of all, believe that you could do this, but then also don't have anyone negatively telling you, don't do this, you can't do this.
You need mentors that inspire you, and you don't need people that are unrealistic. Like, if you weigh 450 pounds, you're probably not going to be a swimmer, right? So you don't need somebody. You could swim. Yeah, if you lost 350 pounds, you could swim, which you probably could, but by the time you lost it, probably the Olympics would be over. Yeah. So you need people that are realistic, but don't tell yourself the things that you can't do. Tell you the things that you can do, and then see if you're willing to do what's necessary.
Mm-hmm. And that's well said. That's definitely like applicable to everything. And
yeah, this is all about goal setting as well, and setting priorities, setting a realistic goal for you to move on in life as well. You want something that is measurable as well, so you can reach one step at a time towards what you want in the end.
Yes, without a doubt.
It is okay to have like long goals, right? And say like,
well, you have to have long goals. In other words, when you look at the things that I talk about, we have long goals, which are lifetime goals, being a better person, whatever. Getting good at something you may not be good at. Then you have goals along the way, and I call those medium goals. And then you have daily goals, which are just, hey, just make incremental progress forward today. It may not be your goal, but have a good day, and then have another day. Put enough of those good days together, you'll have a good week. Put enough of those together, good month. Enough of those together, good year. Next thing you know, you're closer to your goal. So it's my long-term goals are different than my shorter goals. And, you know, right now I'm studying Buddhism. I want to finish this one particular goal I have in mind, and I can't really finish it, but I just at least want to progress towards it. And so that's my latest goal, to take some of the energy and fire I had as a martial artist and quell it so that I can just simply be nicer. Not that you could tell by the ringing bells thing that just happened. But I'm working on it. Like when I'm driving, I try not to get angry. So, I'm trying to be a calmer person.
So it's all about mindfulness, of course.
It is. You have to be mindful of who you are. And I have a mentor that helps me with this, and I talk to him, and, he always says something interesting. He says, when something happens, I ask myself, who am I and what is this? And then if you really think about it, anything that's going on in that moment passes. So in the beginning, you're angry. Well, wait, you won't be angry. Beginning, you're sad. Wait, you won't be. But also, when you're happy, wait, you'll be sad. So it kind of works that way too. So I think about that a lot now because, then you could think about things like somebody's they're driving badly. They're going to go. Let them go. They'll be gone. You don't have to think about them anymore. So it's been an interesting process for me.
And when did you start this process?
Just recently. You guys didn't know me when I was doing it, because had you known me, I would have been different. So it would have been way nicer. But my fire as a competitor was what fueled me, and I thought I needed that fire my entire life. So when I need it, I can pull it out. But for the most part now, I'm just trying to be more relaxed about everything, and it's difficult.
But of course, it is like the next goal, the next milestone.
Yeah, you should. And this is my next. That's my next goal, is to try to be a better, calmer person and more effective.
Mm-hmm. And relating back to the book. So when you start off like with more mindfulness, more respectful person, how does that go to like reading or writing your book? Does your style of the book change when your mindset changes?
The book was interesting because there was a transformation that happened during the book. So as I was reading and writing and thinking and reflecting, it caused me to think about these things that had happened or the things that I had done. And then were they necessary? What did they do for me? What did they teach me? How did I use it? And then I could think about, what I used to tell people is you could avoid 95% of the conflicts you're in. You just ignore them and walk away. That's hard to do because your ego gets involved. And this idea that you're any more important than any one individual, I think, is what causes that. So at the moment where you realize that you're simply not, then there's a change. So that's why the book has been good, because it caused me to reflect on those things and then really think about them. Do I need that? Did I need that? Do I need to do that again? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think there's been a change.
So about the book again, I know a lot of people are writing books like
Mm-hmm.
for personal reasons, and when you were reflecting upon yourself, did anything like come up interesting, or was it difficult to write about yourself?
I would have to think about that a little more. I think some of the memories were painful, but memories are either you remember stuff because they're painful or pleasurable. Those are the only ones you remember. You don't remember the regular stuff. I have a pretty good memory, so I remember pretty much everything, but the painful ones are painful. When you talk about them, they're hard to talk about, but it's part of the process, right? When you eat salty food, it's salty, and it should be, because that's salty food. When you have a painful memory, you got to understand it's going to be painful. And if you dull that pain in the retelling of it or the memory of it, you're doing it a disservice. So you should immerse yourself in that pleasure or pain of the memory, and then understood what it was and why you felt that way. So I could easily lament on many of those memories and relive them and blame, and I just don't. I just look at it and say it was a place and a point in time, and people had the reasons for what they did and they didn't do, and you can't recreate history, although we try to, right? We have all these buildings in the United States, and Thomas Jefferson or whoever, and he held slaves. Well, he also wrote the Constitution. So you tear down his buildings. There was a famous comedian that said, yeah, you're tearing down his statue. Great. Are you tearing down his hospitals? No. So I think that's interesting. You have to take people temporally where they are, and then you can make decisions. You don't have to follow it again, but, you can't recreate history. Got to accept it for what it was.
Right, and looking back at history, little softer transition, and what was maybe your most memorable moment throughout your whole journey of anything, the most memorable moment in life?
When you're older, it's like your children being born. So, because that's a life-altering situation. So for me, it would have to be my children being born in my family. Those are the ones now. Before children, maybe the Olympics, because that was life-altering as well. So in that order would be children and family, and then probably the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. And of course, life-altering events are very good for you because it helps move on to the next chapter and maybe evolve as a person. So it is always good to have life-altering moments.
Change only happens with chaos, right? So chaos creates change, and you're going to change no matter what. So when something is manifesting itself like that, that's what causes change. And that's what, otherwise you wouldn't change. If you were happy every day and had enough of everything, liked everything, you just continue. You don't try to become more happy. It's only through unhappiness and dissatisfaction that you force yourself to change.
All right, so now moving on, you truly are a master in everything that you're doing, and you have grown a lot as a person in all your philosophies and learnings. Are there any parting words you can give to future students, athletes, and just in general how to be a better person?
I mean, you're too kind. I'm just an individual, but this is what I'll say: be a lifelong learner. Start by asking why and what, as opposed to just listening and doing nothing. Number two, realize that life is a series of shorter goals that bring you to longer goals, and in getting to those longer goals, you'll be better served. And then number three, most importantly, be willing to stay in the room long enough for something to happen. And what I mean by that is, like we used to talk about in the school, patience, determination, and perseverance. Patience, because it takes time, no matter what you're trying to do. Perseverance, because it's going to be hard. You're going to run into challenges, and you're going to have to overcome those challenges somehow and in some way, and you can. And then finally, determination means make up your mind to do it, and then you'll do it. If you make up your mind to do it, you'll do it. When you don't do those things, when you're not patient, when you're not perseverant, when you're not determined, then you will still maybe be successful, but it won't be because of a plan. It'll be by accident. And I buy lottery tickets all the time because I like that little fantasy. I figure I've had a lot of success in my life. Why can't I win the lottery too? I mean, great story. I hope I win. Probably not going to win. My wife tells me, don't make it my retirement plan. So that's kind of it too. I do preparation. I work. I do everything I have. I could just sit around and buy lottery tickets and hope, but that's not going to get it done. So be patient, determined, be perseverant, and stay in the room long enough.
Of course, you need to stay hungry for what you want in the end of the day.
Yeah, and once you lose that desire or passion, then you can't stay in the room long enough, and that's true. You have to have passion and desire, and it doesn't mean it has to manifest itself in physical wealth, because that's what most people focus on. But you have to be happy. Figure out your happiness. Figure out your happy place, and then work towards that.
Now, I just want to thank you again for showing up on our podcast today. We'll be ending it over here. I just want to say thank you again for teaching us about your philosophies today and learnings and how we can inspire future students in the future. We will be linking your book in our bio, and hopefully that can pass on more teachings through your audiobook as well on Audible, so people could listen on the go in their vehicles or on the run, for example. And thank you again for being on our podcast.
Thank you to the both of you and your family for all of the love and support over the years and being just great young men. And I'm so proud of both of you. But more importantly, thank you for all the kind words today. And I wish you the best in your continued success in your pursuits.
Thank you.